Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social, Season 3, Episode 28, and we're joined with some very, very special guests today, boys, and obviously Ben as well, but Jake and Charlie from Chappaqua Wrestling, who were actually on Soccer AM not too long ago. So, boys, how are you feeling? It's really good to have you on. We'll start with either of you two, to be honest. Yeah, it must really
good.
Seagulls Social, Soccer AM.
Yeah, we followed you guys for a while, and you guys are doing a good job for the Brighton boys and flying the flag high. So yeah, big up.
Appreciate that.
Big time. Yeah, mate. Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. It's a great episode to join on. There's a lot of seagulls burning. I don't know. It's just like one of those classic games, isn't it? So I think there's
frustration.
A lot to talk about. Yeah, but yeah, it's great. It's great. We're feeling good.
Love that. I mean, look, as you say, it's a interesting episode to join us because the last time I started a podcast, which was literally yesterday, was very painful on the back of Palace. I just want to get your thoughts, boys, on Palace. Start with you, Charlie. How was you feeling yesterday or the day before as well?
Well, just like obviously, like the VAR decision just made it just so annoying because then it is just technically a goal. So like there's just 3 points we've just lost, or 2 points we lost. Sanchez's mistake is like weird one. At first, obviously, you just like, you donkey. Like, how did that happen? But I guess like everyone does make mistakes. It's just when keepers' mistakes are like that, the first thing you think is like, that's so classic Sanchez. Like, he's got a bit of a temper, or he'll just do something clumsy, but he's like an insane shot stopper. But I think we're just watching the same keeper week in, week out.
Yeah.
You just start to notice tiny little things, but everyone does it. It is just a classic mistake. So like they happen. But I thought overall we're good. Like Webster saved us. Like he was amazing. Obviously it's just such a shame because it's Selhurst, but like, yeah, I thought Purvis had a great game. Should have been a goal. It was frustrating. Like we did spank them in like every sense, apart from the score.
We spanked them 1-1.
Matters.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying. It was
we smashed them 1-1, boys.
What a win.
Jake, what was your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I mean, overview, like coming into the game, it was like we couldn't have been playing them at a better time. Everyone's so confident, team looks so sharp. Palace are just like not really there at the moment, but Palace is just always tricky. Like it's obviously we get so jacked up for because it's the M23 derby, but it's never fun. It's just like it's always a jarring match to watch. And just like recent results. Like, obviously, the Mope equaliser last season was like lifted spirits, but again, like it's not like it's never like a good era of playing Palace. And then obviously going into the match, like the situation with Brighton at the moment is like if we don't win in the Premier League, it's upsetting, which is an amazing situation for us to be in as a club. Like, oh, we haven't won this weekend. Like, what a bummer. Which is an amazing situation to be in. But then when you're 1-0 up at Palace, and then. Yeah, I mean, the offside goal, I think, was kind of fair. Like, it was just sadly a bit offside. It was more Sanchez. Like, that's what dropped the points. But at the same time, like, we should have finished the chances. We had so many chances. McAllister must have been so gutted after the match because he had so many good chances. Yeah. Like, if anyone's going to put him in the back of the net, it'll be him always. It was gutting. But at the same time, like, Palace is always tricky. So if someone said before the match, we should take a point, I would have said... It would be a bit of a shame, but you know, it's not the worst result at Selhurst.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yes, fair point. And then, follow up on that. Like, it's obviously the club's most successful season ever. Hard to argue that. But how? And Charlie, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the season so far? Did you expect this after Potter left, or did you think it was going to go downhill immediately?
I thought we'd be pretty consistent. I honestly speaking had never heard of Roberto De Zerbi before he started. I'm sure there's a lot of people like that as well. So like
football hipsters will say that they did know who he was.
Yeah. That's why I know. Yeah, Tifo football watchers would be like, yeah.
But no, like I thought we'd do well. Like I kind of like. I mean, like I've heard you guys speaking about this a lot. Obviously, like Potter leaving, it was like. I kind of was always thinking, like, I mean, I bet everyone thought he probably would go. Obviously, it was like a big surprise at the time, but you know, like we all knew that he would have been getting offers left, right, and centre, and like we I think credit to him for staying with us for so long. I mean, we was doing so well, but his career trajectory kind of made sense for him. But that was just such a weird prediction. I think that kind of took all of my predictions out the window, really, for the like my initial season predictions. But De Zerbi coming in, I just didn't know, but it just very quickly felt like a very serious manager who was really passionate. And I think every Brighton fan wanted a bit of that from like post-match interviews and just a bit of fire from like just even conversation. Like Potter's just famously like, like blank sheet sort of thing. So it's so nice to have that fire from a manager again. And I kind of does make sense now. But like short answer is my prediction went out the window and Potter went. And then De Zerbi coming in, as soon as you kind of sensed his passion, you were like, okay, well, with the squad we have, this is going to go well. So it makes complete sense, really, which is like another shock and make like a pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
about
just
like
puts more faith in the club.
Fan forever.
Puts way more faith in the club because I think at the beginning when they hired Potter, they said something about whoever is managing the club will suit the club. It's not Potter's club or style. That's Brighton's style, and they've got the right manager for that job. And so hopefully that will just continue even when De Zerbi does eventually leave as well.
I've also heard that they're like planning. Well, like they've already got the manager after De Zerbi in mind, like coaching staff there, or like the planning. They're like
Ryan Adset. We know who's looking at him now.
Oh yeah. So
Tony Bloom clearly like. Bloom obviously knows how to like assemble a team on another level, because I was like more worried when Potter left that the coaching staff also going would really like derail the whole team. I thought that's what would have been the real shock. Like getting a good manager, De Zerbi, if he's good, great. But it's where there's been so much kind of like turbulence. All the staff going like, I feel so like demotivated as a player. I was like, all my mates are gone. Like, what's going on here? My mates and like all the coaching staff. What's happening? But like he's gone and found De Zerbi and then somehow managed to just completely smoothen out like the whole management and coaching process. Like I don't know how they did it, but yeah, it is amazing. It's probably like one of the most impressive bits of the season. No matter where we finish in the league, how smooth the transitions been probably like is the most impressive thing that's happened.
Are you enjoying watching Graham Potter's downfall or struggles at Chelsea? Jake, you go. It's surely there's some part of you that enjoys it a little bit.
Well, I didn't like Chelsea anyway, so it's just added fuel to the fire. I don't know why. All of our mates from Brighton, our close group of friends, are Chelsea fans.
Yes.
So growing up,
typical.
Even Lewis Dunk's a Chelsea fan, but we just don't like
him. I didn't know that. But
his dog's called Didier.
I feel like Potter will sort it out. Potter will. It's going to take time, and I hope they give it to him because he's a good manager. I don't also hope they give it to him because I don't like Chelsea, but I think he'll work the combination out and it will start working. But it is nice seeing Chelsea struggle just for the time being, But I do want Potter to get his way because he's a good guy.
Yeah, fair. And Charlie?
Yeah, mate, same. Just like I do very much enjoy the struggle and enjoy how well we're doing. It's just so beautiful. It's one of those.
I went to get it.
Torturing.
Let him suffer. But it's just like I do just think he's definitely a good manager, and he did really well for the club. And I think I don't know if it's controversial, but I really like the message that he sent to the fans after when he left. I read that. I really enjoyed it. It felt very genuine. And it's hard when you've got so much emotion invested in the club and to not get super, super angry about someone leaving like that. But then when you take a step back and you look at his career and what he's done, I respected him leaving. It is nice to get that kind of last laugh, if you will. But I do want to see him succeed. I think it's only a good thing in a weird sense, it's another good thing for Brighton as a club if he ends up smashing it with Chelsea, because it's another historic manager that was at Brighton. It just puts us again into the upper echelon again.
In the league, though.
No.
I mean, look, as long as Chelsea don't sack him until April, it's all good. Pretty much.
No. Yeah, I'm just saying in our standings, and how people talk about us, and for me, when you're speaking to Chelsea fans or other people, and they're just got such a small-minded view of what Brighton's doing, even despite now. it would just like put him in their place a bit. Do you know what I mean? So I do hope he does well. Actually,
do you know what's quite gutting? Cucurella not doing bits there. Like he was so
gutted
good.
about that. I think it's hilarious.
Player.
I think it's so funny.
What do you lads think? Are you enjoying his demise? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think the way that more so Cucurella is just funny because he said it was a dream to go to Barcelona, a dream to go to Man City, and it was a dream to go to Chelsea. And it's like, God's sake, mate. Now he has gone to Chelsea, and we got 63 million, and he's Chelsea fans saying he's one of the worst, one of the worst players they've had. So I think it's just quite funny to see how it all turns around. But at the end of the day,
put himself in a situation.
It is what it is.
But he was so good for Brighton. Like he was like the funnest player. He got amazing hair. He sounds like a rare bird. Like he was just top level for me. I loved it.
That's a great description of it.
That's funny. That is funny. Anyway, I'll move on swiftly from there because I want to know also. Obviously, you guys seem like proper Brighton fans. I see Charlie, you got the skint shirt in the background. It's made me want to ask really. How long have you both been Brighton fans? I'll start with you, Charlie, because of the shirt. I just want to know.
Mate. First game I went to, I was 6 or 7. I was against Wrexham at the Withdean with my dad in the pissing rain. I remember it very specifically because it was also the first time I ever had a Mars bar dark chocolate, and I remember being like,
you remembering the chocolate bar must have been a sign of how bad the put it was.
I remember sitting eating the Mars bar, like, and it was pissing it down, raining, so dark, and there was like fucking, sorry for swearing, there's probably 40, 50 Wrexham fans like there,
tucked away, miles away.
Yeah, well, not miles away. It was the Withdean. I mean,
they were like 200 meters back, weren't they?
Yeah, they were behind the shot put, weren't they?
Yeah, I remember first going there. There was all the Brighton fans. I think it was Mansfield. Someone had scored. Mansfield had scored, and it was like they were singing like, "Do you know that you scored?" And the Wrexham fans were like, "What?"
There's a delay.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, that long. I think Jake's pretty much the same, and we've been following it ever since. So like my dad's was at the Goldstone, and like he's like proper old school fan. So yeah.
Have you two boys just been mates from school then? You and Jake, and you've grown up sort of watching football together?
So a bit. I had a bit of a like break in it. So I moved to New York like when I was 8. Like my family got a job out there, so we moved there for like 4 years. But I used to get I used to get sent over like the Brighton Hove Albion DVDs at the time, and Leon Knight t-shirts, and so we carried it on over there. Then we moved back, and then me and Jake met. So I was about 12 when I moved back, and then we met at school, and then we've been going to games and being mates ever since. Pretty much.
In the Lee Stortbury way, what school did you go to?
Downlands. Yeah, Downlands.
Just
outside in Hassocks. This is a common conversation. Obviously, we're from Brighton. Naturally, we're actually just from outside Hassocks, Burgess Hill area. But there's always some person that pops up on our socials like, "I actually know that you're from Hassocks because your dad drinks in the pub. So why do you say you're from Brighton?"
Let's do a Hassocks podcast then instead.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, I can't say a lot.
Just to add, as old Brighton fans, I must. I was at the Goldstone. I was at the Goldstone as a baby.
That shuts every guy that has a go. You weren't at the Goldstone on Twitter up if you ever have an opinion.
Yeah. So if people say they were at the Withdean, I can imagine that people feel like they look like Brighton Plastics that turned up at Falmouth. I'll be like, nah, wasn't just even Withdean. I was at the Goldstone.
Go on, Ben.
You were the
closest I got to the Goldstone was being in Toys R Us or JJB, where it used to be. It's the closest I ever got, unfortunately.
There's still some Brighton fans that refuse to go in that Toys R Us.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's now a Lidl, isn't it? Not it's
a TK Maxx.
Oh, really?
And a TK Maxx, and the Nando's, of course. Shout out Nando's.
Yeah, the Nando's is. I've been there a few times. Reluctantly.
And this is a bit of a quick fire question here. And Charlie, we'll start with you. We want to know your favourite Brighton player growing up, and also your favourite current player as well.
Favourite Brighton player growing up, probably Zamora. Has to be, and then just like my really early sort of memories of like being a Brighton fan and like finding the results in like the local, in like the paper, and you go down Division 2 or Division 1 and you just see Zamora and you're like, yes. I don't know, they're just like my first formulated memories, which I think is probably the same for a lot of kids, you know.
My memories and then, with Dean just having the bacon baguettes, that was the best part. Like you said with your Mars bar, for me is the bacon baguettes. So cheap, but absolutely massive, loaded with bacon.
Isn't it? I know, mate. It's just classic. But me and Jake went to uni in Manchester, and we've done this quite a few times. Me, my dad, Jake and his dad, we go to away games, or we go to games together. And we went to Blackburn away in the snow. And
it was easier when we were in the Championship to do things like that, away days.
Yeah. But it was so good. And then we see Bobby Zamora's last game?
Yeah, Bobby Zamora header, and I think he scored a penalty. Oh no, we saw Bobby Zamora score penalty against MK Dons.
No, but it was definitely Blackburn because it was snowing. We'd just eaten a pie.
Yeah, I remember the game about the red kit, wasn't it? It was the red kit.
Yeah.
Charlie, do you only remember memories? Do you only remember your memories from what you're eating at the time?
What I was eating,
You're like, we were definitely eating a pie. It was Evo Park.
I remember the steak on my chin.
I don't know. Maybe they go together really well. I don't know. I mean, like, it's just football and Scran. You know, there's a whole Twitter page about it. Like, you know, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But so Zamora's, and then now, I think it's got to be Gross, Pascal Gross, the workhorse, mate. Love him.
Love that. I love that because so many people give him sort of stick, don't they, about being too slow and everything. So it's nice to hear someone.
He's
Jake,
just so
what about you
stylish,
as well?
mate. Love it.
Yeah. Right. Go on.
My all-time favourite, I mean, is also Zamora, but I'll give a different answer because someone I used to love when I was a kid for whatever reason. I used to love Kuipers. I think I was like a goalie for like a brief period from like age 8 till 9 for whatever reason. I don't know why.
No way.
Small. And I just loved Kuipers. I don't know what it was about him.
I've got his glove above
he
me.
had a big personality. Oh really?
Do you?
Yeah, I've got a signed glove above me. I don't want to grab it because I haven't got the best trousers on underneath, so I don't want to stand up.
He had a lot of character.
Okay.
I liked him. And then recently, I mean, with the departure of Trossard, like Matoma has just come into this like absolute beast of a player. He was pretty quiet on Saturday because they kept him quiet quite successfully, but I think he's going to be a Brighton legend if we can keep hold of him.
Yeah. The 6-month spell that we've had him in the first team before he goes to
big club in the
But also massive Pascal Gross fan. He's like one of the most stylish players we'll ever have. Like that Cruyff turn, that is
intelligence, football IQ. It's
big time.
But I want to know as well, because obviously being big Brighton fans, obviously since you were young, is it important for you, sort of as almost like a dream, I guess, as a band, when you do blow up inevitably, to almost carry Brighton and put them on the map? Is that an aim for you? I'll start with you, Jake.
I think like somehow we've found a little bit of a niche in like the football world with our music recently. Only a little bit, you know, just Soccer AM, having a chat on FIFA, being here talking to you guys. It seems like the footballing world of music is like in our music, which is nice. And I think like we're huge Brighton fans. Like, if outside of music, our second shared interest is hands down football. So there's no reason to like own it, like as part of our character, I guess. You know, obviously we don't.
You've literally got a song called Football as well. If you haven't heard it, it's probably. Honestly, I don't know how you made it, but you made a song that just epitomizes football. Just when you listen to that opening, I'm like, immediately think football.
I get what you mean.
Go to the stadium.
that one should have been a way
It's special. It's special.
That one should have been on
it. Yeah, that should have.
Cheers, Ben. That's awesome, man.
But I think we'll probably keep flying the flag because we want to own where we're from. Like, we are from Brighton. I think we've had lots of people thinking we're from Manchester from starting the band there, and then people think we're from London. I think we've been trying to like stamp that we're actually from Brighton. So I think actually pointing out that we're big Brighton fans as well, just, you know, probably helps other Brightoners that are Brighton fans get behind us. And then hopefully one day we'll get booked to play at the Amex or open for someone. That's got to be a dream.
Sick.
I was going to ask you about that because I saw you said it on an interview as well, saying that it was your dream to sell out the Amex Stadium and have Seagulls flying over and dropping T-shirts. I thought that was hilarious. Charlie, is that still the I've made it dream moment for you to have the Seagulls dropping T-shirts over a sold out Amex Stadium?
100%. I mean, like, if we could play a gig there, have our song played there, like on the concourse, pre-match. The pre-matches, like that would just be like absolute next levels. I mean,
we should at least be getting played at half time by now. Come on, like they need to.
Come on.
I mean, look, it's the platform, mate. Promote yourself out there. We'll put it all over Twitter and retweet it on every account we can find.
It's funny. My parents have season tickets, and they sometimes go to one of the lounges and. My stepdad's always saying like Paul Barber's over there, and I'm going to go over to him and tell him to book you guys. And like, you know what? I'm not sure he's going to listen to you and just say I'm not sure how that works.
So I found the text message where my friend Alex from Bristol, he sent me your song Football, and then my reply just goes proper football song. That it's literally what it is. Straight on the playlist.
Good man. There you go. Appreciate it, man. Yeah,
that must be sick though. Seeing your songs being like shared in an iMessage. Is it a bit of like a pinch yourself moment where that sort of stuff's happening?
Yeah, mate, definitely. But that's all. That's also it is, and then it's also like why we're doing it. It's like the results we want to see. We want to get that engagement. We just want people to like feel the energy that we're trying to give, and that we sort of have been writing and working so hard to sort of do. So when people are engaging with it, it's like yes, it's just like a win. It's just like people are involved and people are sharing what we think about it. So it's
about musicians is like everyone just singing your song at a concert, and you've got everyone just in the palm of your hands. I've always thought that must just feel like an absolutely insane feeling. I mean, what is it like to have that just everyone sort of is that the imagine you have the Amex sold out and everyone's singing your song word for word? Would that just be the sort of pinnacle moment?
I think it would also just we're nowhere near that level yet. So I can't quite like imagine it. But like from experience of like having a crowd that's like full and up for it, and like we played Truck Festival that was just so full and everyone was really engaged, and like that was such a big show for us. But it was actually harder to deal with a show in Brighton where just a bunch of our pissed mates turned up who were showing a lot of support. But having them in the palm of our hands was just unruly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just having that from that. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's that like feeling of progress, I suppose.
It's probably the closest you'll get to being a footballer and having your song sung by the fans. Just seeing other people sing about you, it must be like, that's insane.
It is. Definitely, it is. I think we only actually really played our first headline tour in October. That was our first run of headline dates. Which was amazing. Managed to sell it all out somehow, which was great. But it was the first time we had people singing our lyrics back to us properly, really. But we also noticed that there was people singing along to songs which we hadn't released, and we're like, hold on, how have they managed this one? Someone's leaked, or someone, or maybe they're just finding the first chorus that catchy that they're singing along more, and we were like, okay, well, this is a good sign. So next tour out in May,
definitely.
Next tour in May, plug. Which tickets are available?
We've got that on the list. Don't worry.
We've got the plug right at the end.
It literally says in capitals, plug new album.
The May tour should be our first kind of experience, I think, properly for people. The album will be out, so people will properly be able to connect with music live and hopefully sing back to us, and then we can hopefully proper Robbie Williams it and just just not even sing ourselves and let them do it for us.
That's the place you want to be. When I was talking to my mum about you guys yesterday, I showed her some of your songs. She was like, can you please ask them where did the name come from? So Charlie or Jay, one of you take it. Where did the name come from? Because it's quite
Charlie.
Strange. It's a bit like I've seen a TikTok go viral actually, and it was like indie bands or bands trying to think of their name. It's like, a wheel. Spin some wheel and then spin another wheel and something happens.
We're the
you would have to spin a lot of wheels to get our name. It's mad.
Fair point.
So basically, I as I said earlier, I lived in New York for like 3 or 4 years when I was growing up. And I lived in a town called Chappaqua.
Wait, it's Chappaqua, not Chappaqua. I've been saying Chappaqua this whole time.
It's not wrong. That's not wrong.
Yeah, you can say it like that. A lot of Northerners are like Chappaqua. So
Chappaqua.
Sounds like some place in South America, not in New York.
Yeah,
I think it's a Native American name.
I think it comes off. It comes off like, I think it's the town is like, we used to be called. I think it comes from the Native American word for like running water, which was like Sipacoya, and then they like Americanized it Chappaqua. But basically, it's just like a big old town, and they had a there was like a sports shop in the town that sold like just generic sports t-shirts, and my dad bought me one that said Chappaqua Wrestling. And
just like a GTA shirt you'd get, some random.
Yeah, it's just like it was kind of, I don't know, just some random t-shirt that sort of is all of the wrestling teams in the town of all the different schools, blah blah blah. Right. So anyway, I when I moved back, and me and Jake got we became friends and started playing music together when we were like 14, and it was a sick t-shirt, and we just used to like just both wear it, and it was just really good. When we went to Manchester for uni, we were like, oh, we should start a new band. And we were like, oh, let's call it Chappaqua Wrestling. Like, we won't actually be called that. We'll just get a few gigs in Manchester, and then like we'll get a new band name.
And we'll get a proper name.
We'll get a proper name, yeah. And then we'll just, it'd be fun. And then it just started nicely doing really well on Spotify. And then we were like, oh, okay, like probably shouldn't change it.
Bit late
and now we've just got it. So it's a bit weird. It's very recognisable when you see it, but anyone asking you, and you just know who they are when they ask you, like, what's that name? What are you called? And you're like, oh, Chappaqua Wrestling. They're like, what?
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's like,
here we go.
We definitely like ended up having this name out of being so relaxed at the beginning of the project, which was quite nice. We were just like, yeah, we'll just call this the name for now, and we'll decide on something down the line. And then within a few shows, you then realise it's too late. When it wasn't too late to change it, we just got quite comfortable with it, and we quite liked it. But then we actually did. I don't think we've ever told anyone this, but we did not long ago, about a year ago, when we first signed our album deal. We were thinking about changing our name, and we were like, let's call the band's name Plus Ultra, which is the name of our album, and we'll call our first album Chappaqua Wrestling. And we thought that it was like maybe a great plan, and then everyone that we worked with and our friends was like, that's a stupid idea. Like, you guys already have a little bit of a following, that would be mad, and Chappaqua Wrestling is great. So we were like, yeah, you're right. I think we just needed to be told to shut up.
It's funny you say that, because I was going to ask you, was there ever a sort of easy plan B for you, or was it like, because obviously you say now you feel like it's too late. Would you ever consider changing it, or is it just that? Is it set now? Is it
I think it is. It is what it is, and the damage has been done. Like, we've done well enough. We've done well enough with it as the name, and I quite like it. Really, I mean, like it's very nostalgic, and cool. If you were gonna really try and get emotional about it, that T-shirt, man. It bound me and Jake together, like, it was the thing that just connected us. Yeah, and I wouldn't change that in the world, So,
love that.
It's just a dumb name, but we'll keep it.
Fair enough.
Screw it. Who cares?
Obviously, it must have been a clever name, because eventually, well, what I'm seeing, I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of Blossoms, but I don't really listen to their music. I think I know a few of their songs, but you guys supported them, right? How did that come about?
It was
big band.
It was a funny one. We were just kind of like coming towards the end of the year. I think it was like it was mid-December, so we'd already done the UK tour, and then I think we had one more small headline before the end of the year, and then we just get a message from our manager saying, do you want to support Blossoms tomorrow in Brighton? And we're like, okay, what venue? And they said Brighton Dome, and we were like, that's a great venue. It's somewhere we've never played, and it's also like, it's not the biggest venue in the world, but it's definitely like the most prestigious of the Brighton venues of like how old and beautiful it is. So we'd always wanted to play there, and we were like, hell yeah, well, we'll happily support them, because get to go back to Brighton for the weekend, and then obviously like playing Blossoms, which is great, but also playing a great venue. So we were like, hands down, let's do it. So we literally had, I think we found out on the day actually. I think they said, do you want to do it today? And we had to change our plans.
I remember you announced it. I was sitting in Costa in Churchill Square, and I messaged you guys. I was like, you ain't got any tickets going, have you? Because someone to come along. You were like, oh, I don't anymore. Mate. I was like, oh, God's sake.
Oh mate, well, next one. You guys will be on the list for the next one. But we got down there, and I got down there early, and I was speaking to the Blossoms manager or the tour manager, and he said, "You guys free tomorrow night?" And I was like, "In what sense? Like, do you want to go for drinks, or like, what are you on about?" And he was like, "No, we're doing Brixton tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay, Brixton Academy, which is obviously huge venue, which would have been really exciting." And then our manager called and was like, "Yeah, you guys free tomorrow night as well for Brixton Academy?" And we were like, "Oh yeah." So we didn't even have any time to think about it and process it. So they were two huge shows to be like, "Yeah, we'll do them." And then I think if we had a lead up of like time to think about doing Brixton Academy, we probably would have overthought it, or like, let's get flares and lasers and I don't know, gone in a bit. But we just turned up just like...
the venue enough is sick. Isn't that, there's the one with the roof and it's got all like the murals on, right?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a castle around it. It looks like a castle around the stage.
I saw Empire of the Sun there. That was incredible.
No way!
Sick. That was sick.
But they were wicked shows. So it ended the year really nicely, and then good guys as well. Blossoms, nice lads,
really nice.
Are they Australian? Am I thinking?
No, they're from Manchester.
They're from Stockport.
Stockport. Australia, Stockport, very similar, obviously.
Who am I? They're good lads. They're good lads. They're big.
I think you might be thinking about DMAs.
Yes, thank you.
Similar pool. We played with Blossoms before, actually, when we first started the band, like 4 or 5 years ago. 45 years ago, not that. 4 or 5 years ago.
At the Goldston.
We supported them in Stockport a while ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and then it was nice to support them again. But I remember we supported them like 4 or 5 years ago, and we were like, this is mad. Like, our music kind of sounds similar, but not that similar. And then 4 or 5 years later, our music couldn't sound more different, like polar opposites, like of sound. So I think when we were like, playing some loud grunge to their audience at like 8 p.m. on a Friday night when they're expecting someone else to support them, I think the fans are a little bit like, whoa, who are these guys? But I think that worked in my favour. Blew them away a little bit.
Yeah. And then, but mate, you've obviously done very well in such a short space of time. I mean, full round table made it onto FIFA 23, which was mad, actually. Very, very huge. I remember hearing it and I was like, hang on a minute. This is the boys that DM'd me the other day. I was like, hang on a minute. Wait, what? And then it all sort of hit me when I saw it all. And then how does that come about? Because obviously FIFA music, right? It sounds silly to probably anyone that has never played FIFA. But like, throughout your whole sort of teenage years when you've played FIFA, those songs are iconic now. And, you think of it as that's that song of FIFA, isn't it? How did that come about? How did they get in touch? Because, that is really, really big. Charlie, I'll let you take it, mate.
Echoing that, like, when we found out we were going to be on it, it's just the exact same. Like, growing up playing FIFA, you just know those songs like the back of your hand, and it kind of like shapes a lot of your like what music you're going to get into. Like when you get older, really, it's like sort of early sort of influences. So we were so gassed, as you can imagine. I think we just got put forward for it, and like that song "4 on Table" just has like, it's just quite like football-y. I don't know, not intentionally, but there's something about it that's just quite like, it's got like
it's got a big crescendo,
it's got a lot of energy, big crescendo. Yeah. So anyway, so we got put forward to it. I think our label put us forward to it, and then they like nicely they wanted to get us on it, and we obviously accepted. I think it was accepted before we even found out. Like, it wasn't even a question.
No surprise.
It's happening.
I don't think anyone said no. It's not for us.
Yeah,
we're waiting on heads.
You got to think of the insane amount of millions and millions of people will be listening to that song after getting battered 9-0 on Foot Champs or something like that. But it'll be 12 months until the next one comes out of them listening to that song relentlessly. And maybe too much, to be fair, because some people play FIFA a bit too much. But it's for me,
I don't know,
as a big FIFA player, and loving my FIFA soundtracks, that would be such a massive moment. But if
I think like huge. Like the little kind of moments of like little hit moments you have to have as an artist. I think that was probably one of the biggest ones from last year. I don't think we really realised at first how good it would be for us, but the amount of people that you speak to, friends or friends of friends,
artists,
mutuals, like they all say like, oh yeah, I was in Liverpool the other night, and they said that your mate's band was on FIFA, and I had no idea. And then they were singing like your song at me, and we're like, "Wow, that's crazy!" Like it really does spread the music.
Yeah,
it's the YouTube comments that's been the biggest difference. We've just had like so many more YouTube comments from everywhere around the world.
Songs from FIFA.
Greetings from Brazil. I love FIFA.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Like, oh, nice.
I mean, you see, like,
I met a guy in. I can't remember. He knew the band. He came and introduced himself to me. I was just in London somewhere, and he knew the band, and then he followed me on Instagram, and then later that night he sent me a DM at like 4 a.m. He was like, "Yo, man, listen to this FIFA hit," and it was him and like 10 people like at a session, like just hammered at like 4 a.m. listening to Four on the Table. I had it on the screen. I was like,
that's
sweet.
Great.
I don't know this guy at all, and he is absolutely hammered right now. And
yeah,
FIFA
that is so cool.
Is like doing bits for him.
Well, that's the thing. I was about to say, like, you see sort of like Sam Fender, Easy Life. They've all been, you associate their first songs like "Play God" to FIFA 19. Like that's what I always used to think. And now you see Sam Fender as one of the biggest sort of in the industry. I just think it's mad the pull that it has. And the fact that you've already noticed it in a short space of time, I think only shows what you can possibly do in the future as well, which is quite a nice little lead on to, I may as well just take it as well, because Soccer AM obviously got in touch with you recently, and I saw you perform on there. I think you did Wayfinding, right? And it was a very, very good performance, so props to you guys. But what was it? How did you get in touch with Soccer AM? Or they obviously probably got in touch with you. How did it come about? And obviously, as an experience, as a football fan, it's sort of like that pinnacle dream again to be on there, isn't it?
I think that one was actually more of a bit more of an industry link. Like our manager, John Dawkins, big up. He's very close to the football world. He used to play. I think he used to play professionally, maybe, but he's like very in with Coventry City. Knows a lot of people in the football world, so he knows Fenners and Bullard. So I think John manages a few artists, he's got like 6 or 7 artists, and I think when he's got one that is of the kind of Soccer AM ilk, he can send it over to Fenners. And Fenners were like, "Yeah, mate, I like it." And then it's as simple as that.
That's
I think with a bit of momentum, and they happened to like the song Wayfinding, we just kind of got swung in, and they were like, "Do you want to do it?" And we were on holiday when they first asked. They were like, "Do you want to do Soccer AM on Saturday?" And me and Joe were like, "We were in Spain." And they were like, "Come on, lads, like you got to be about for this." And we're like, "Sorry, we really do want to do it." So like when we found out we were doing that was like the second biggest like moment of like, holy shit, like this is going to be fun. Soccer AM was my absolute boyhood dream, just like playing on there, and then also like going in the arena and trying to get top bins, which I didn't do, but Charlie did.
Oh yeah, play.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it was pretty good. But yeah, like it was also our first ever live TV performance. Like, and 3, 2, 1, and that was just like mad because like it was at 10 a.m.
Obviously,
that's what I was
going to say really early.
Yeah, you get live to TV. Yeah,
you get there. You have to get there. You get there at 7 a.m. So then, like you're rocking and Wayfinding, like as you might know, or anyone who hasn't heard it, very, very good.
Great song.
It's very very, very rocky, like energetic. Like I'm doing like some very like top of my range screams in it. So when we were doing a dress rehearsal at like 7 a.m, I was like, got to bust out some cobwebs for this. But like we cracked on. But it was just
it was weird. It was like
the countdown of the live TV was like you just like it's not like a gig. It's such a distinct type of nerves. You're like, whoa, this is
well, you have to get across our performance as a live band, which we normally play at 10 p.m. at night, and everyone in the crowd's had a few beers and we've had a few beers. It's a very hard atmosphere to recreate at 10 a.m. in the morning. I remember people drinking coffee, eating bagels, and like with headsets on, like lights, action, and it was like proper hard to get into like the mode of like, okay, we're playing a gig now. We've got to jack up the audience somehow. And I remember
they were sound there.
There was like There was like 10, 15 minutes before we were playing, and I was like, oh God, a bit nervous now, actually. You know, like we're playing live to TV, and Coco, our keyboardist, she plays keys and does BVs. She's great. She was like backstage, and she was like drinking a Schopperhofer beer, and I was like, "What are you drinking? Orange juice?" She's like, "No, I'm having a Schopperhofer, man. I need to get in the mood. This is a gig." And I was like, "You know what you're doing, yeah."
I want to ask before we move on.
The thing is, go on. I just got one last thing to say about that.
Just go for it.
Is it like the all the staff there, like, and the runners and like the people, you know, making the TV show work? They were all so sound, and like Fenners and Bullard, they were like so sound, made you feel really up for it. So it wasn't those people that were like putting off. It was like all of those football fans, random football fans who came in. Who was it? Like Barnsley Wood or something? Barnsley Wood football, like, and they were all just there, just like in their shirts, just like looking. We were just freezing. And we were just like, okay, all right, let's just go send it to these people. Like that was just. That was funny. Anyway, sorry.
I wanted to ask no, because obviously you watch Soccer AM pretty much every week anyway. It's just on, isn't it? It's one of those things you just have on a Saturday. Why wouldn't you? And I've always wanted to know what's Fenners like as a guy. He seems like he absolutely loves live music and loves bands. He seems like he actually genuinely wants these bands to do well. And I was genuinely interested.
It was a really so heartwarming to see. So we went in the day before, and we did a sound check, met the team, and they were kind of rehearsing some of the skits, and they were going through them. So we walked into this really quiet studio room, and Fenners and Bullard are practicing one of the skits for the next day and just running through it. And we were like, oh God, gotta be quiet. And then you realise, oh God, these guys are these are serious performers. These are TV people. And then they paused what they're doing, looked over Chappaqua Wrestling, came over, shook our hands. And we were like, thanks so much for having us. Really appreciate you having us on the show. It's our first TV performance. Thank you. And they were like, no, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. We were like, thanks for doing it for us. They were really appreciative for us turning up and doing it. It was more, we kind of had this feeling that maybe, obviously they're, busy TV people, maybe that there was someone else that booked the bands or communicate with the artists and run that side of the marketing of it. But they actually booked the bands themselves. We're like, so who chooses? And they were like, we do. We listen to the bands. We listen to the songs. We book the bands. They proper produce the show.
I think Fenners used to be the producer behind the scenes when it was Helen and then he eventually made his way to the screen.
That makes sense. Yeah. So you realise when you're there that these guys are Fenners, especially, and Bullard, but they proper are on the ground, running around, speaking to everyone, fully in charge, in a great way. They were the best energy ever.
They played it was just such a good time because they played Age of Consent by New Order just before we played, really loud, and that's just one of our favourite songs ever, and just love New Order. So we put the video of us playing Wayfinding on YouTube. And you just hear when they're introducing us, New Order's playing. So it's such a good omen. I was like, these guys got such good music taste, or just same as us. So it just made us feel they were just proper bandy, really into their music. Which is not it's weird. It's modern football culture. It's had such a resurgence. Jake, we were talking about this the other day. It feels so football music is together again in a way that might have been lost. Obviously the 90s, Oasis, and it's very connected, those two worlds, and then it kind of felt like it might have dipped off.
I think it dipped off, and then UK hip hop kind of took it over, and they would just drop in Deli Alley bars, and people would be like, "Did you hear that Deli Alley bar?" But now I feel like your style of music is now
indie music having a good relationship.
It's definitely having a good relationship with football again. It seems they go hand in hand again, which is good.
Feels like it feels a bit, but it might not have ever left. We just didn't know, but it's definitely coming back into our world. It's coming back into our world a lot more, and it's just I mean, it's great for us.
It seems there's
we
lots
love.
of
So it's fine.
There's lots of just outside of music as well, so many football cultural magazines like Soccer Bible, Mundial, Pickles, all of that lot, that are really pushing the kind of culture surrounding football, which then brings in all kinds of art and music, which then just makes it so much easier for music to get involved. And I think you're right, definitely there seems to be more bands and alternative artists on I don't know, on the BBC final score playlist, or even just at half time there's lots of band music, which is good. We got we got to come back. It can't all be R&B.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that goes down to Soccer M as well, making that happen again.
Yeah. Dennis obviously loves bands.
Yeah, and that as well. Stone Island bands.
Yeah, the smaller bands first, and I rate that. Anyway, sorry, Ben.
No, it's cool. So you're going from doing a live show at Soccer M, and now you've got an album coming out, and also a tour. But the main thing I'm looking at when I see the places you're playing, Brighton isn't on that list, unless I missed it. It says Bristol, BRI, but not Brighton.
There's method to our madness.
I was going to say, you're going to have to tell us, but people might be able to.
I think we're gonna do something a bit more special for Brighton, which is more we want to come back and do a bigger show in Brighton in autumn. So maybe just holding off for a little bit, but obviously there's more of a demand for Brighton. So I think we're going to do something special down at one of the record stores, which is more kind of like intimate with the fans and more kind of like focused on the album itself. So less of a big nighttime show. To be honest, I actually don't know what I'm on about. I'm not sure what we're doing, but I know we're going to do something special for Brighton.
Yeah.
Basically, we're going to do something a bit more intimate, and then maybe like a party that night around the launch of the album.
We're gonna do like have a bit more focus on it in like not on the same run, but like we're gonna probably play again. But we're also playing like our biggest ever London show on that run, so we're just hoping some of our fans might make the trip up on the train to come and help us out, fill
the
that
away
place.
Fans.
The away fans. Yeah.
So that's at I'm reading it here. The Power. Is it called Powerhouse?
Yeah, Powerhouse. It used to be called Dingwalls. Like it was called Dingwalls for like years and years and years, and everyone knows it as Dingwalls. Like as soon as I, told any my parents or friends' parents, they're like, "Oh, I lived in Dingwalls in the 90s." Like I've heard that so many times. So I think it's like a classic. And it's our biggest headline show. I think it's like 600 people, so that's our biggest one so far. So we're really hoping that we can sell it out. Should be done. So hopefully people from Brighton can help us.
Cool.
Help us.
I'll be making the trip to Bristol. I think that's where I'll be seeing you guys. For that
tour. Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Love that.
Awesome. Bristol's always good. Like I don't know what it is. There's just like there's a few cities. I mean, every tour headline show is amazing when you get to go to a different city, but Bristol's always fun. And annoyingly, Bristol's always on a Monday, Tuesday night for us. But we still bring the heat, and it will still be a big one. So Ben will be expecting you to be at the front, mate.
I will. Yeah. Sort me out some front row tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, we will. Mate.
Love that.
Cool.
Love that.
What were you going to say, Ryan? Go on, man.
I was going to just finish with the sort of new album, obviously, Plus Ultra. The vibe behind it. What's it going to be like? What should we expect? What should fans expect? And how much has gone into this project? I guess I'll start with you, Charlie, because you're looking at me like you want to say something.
No. I'm just it's just interesting question, like because first of all, it's been a long time coming, and some of the songs on there are I think a couple of songs are written when we were like 17.
Okay.
So like back when we were kind of like at sixth form, but they've just kind of come with us our whole life, and they've changed, but there's still some hooks in there that we just love, and we just felt like due diligence to just put it on the album. And then some of them are really recent. I mean, like some of them were written more or less like a month before we recorded it, like a year or two ago. So it's like spans from a big time zone, but very much like our kind of, it has we haven't just taken exactly what we did back then and sort of like done it as that style. It's very much in the same mood, which is just a bit kind of, I don't know how you describe it. It's hard to do it, isn't it? It's just
I think
just a bit rocky, but with a bit of grunge in there. But it's just a bit like, I don't know, just a lot of power. It just felt like when we were recording, there was just a lot of power and like just energy in every single song. From our producers are just so good. Tom Manning, Dave Minchella, big shout out to them. And we just recorded in this Welsh studio in the middle of nowhere, just like in these fields. And the desk was just old, and you'd have to like punch it to get it working. And it was just like, but it was just loud. And we just had these songs which we just really believed in, and had a short amount of space short space of time, to record it all in. So it just meant we just had to go in there, be so drilled and rehearsed before we went in, and then just like send it. And we were just so hungry to do our own album. So it's just so much like energy from us in there. A lot of history from sort of, they're the best songs that we've done since we started. And then just a really interesting setting. So yeah, I think we think it's really special. Like it really, really went well for us. We really enjoyed it. I think it's kind of more of what you heard. So hopefully you like it. But it's definitely an interesting story about how it was done, in that sense. Definitely. Yeah. But Jake, you might want to add to that.
Jake, I mean, you've covered most of it. No, but I mean, I think what was important is that, like Charlie said, a lot of the music was written over nearly 8 to 10 years. Some of it really recently, but then we actually then recorded the whole of the album in 10 or 11 days. Which, I don't know, for people that don't know how long recording takes, like sometimes you can spend like 5 days on one track. So to get like the 10 or 11 songs of the album done in 10 or 11 days was just crazy. Yeah. So we were like working super hard every day in the studio. But then also because we were in the studio making a rocky, grungy album, we had lots of like, not partying, but lots of fun in the studio, lots of glasses of wine, lots of fun, lots of playing shit. I guess you guys know that game. One ball, one bounce.
Oh yeah, I said yeah.
One touch, one bounce. Yeah. We played a lot of that there, so it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy in the album, a lot of playfulness. Then obviously, like over time of like creating the album, the last 2-3 years, like our kind of lyrical voice has kind of matured a bit. So there's a lot more conversation in the lyrics about what's happening in the world around us, which is kind of mirroring like us kind of growing up as writers, which I think is really important about this album, because everything we've done before the album has been, more. It's been more relaxed and more focused on the music, whereas this album is more kind of a collection of songs where we're kind of talking about what we actually feel and what we're seeing happening around us in society and life, and also just like growing up as writers. So yeah, I think there's a good mix on the album, and yeah, as Charlie said, there's a lot of energy. You can feel the energy in the room. Everything's recorded very live. Lots of big room mics, so you can actually feel us walking around and kind of, moving around the studio in the album.
We can hear you. We can hear you chat shit in one of the songs. But I love that so much. You're like more energy. More energy. You can hear it, and you're just like, there's little bits of conversation across the album, like if you listen closely. But yeah, like props to Damon and Tom, our producers. Like they did a solid job. I don't know anyone that's recorded an album quicker than that, unless it's like a punk album, which is recorded like in one day in one take. But yeah, have a listen. You have a listen when it comes out.
We'll do, definitely.
It's available for pre-order right now. So
there you go.
And then out April 14th, yeah? April 14th, is it out?
April 14th.
April 14th.
Yeah.
April 14th.
And then we'll be doing the Amex.
In the description. Be doing the Amex, mate. I'll be in touch with the club as soon as possible, mate.
Please,
sort it out.
Please.
I'll try my best, mate. I will, honestly. Right, Ben. I want to ask you the question, mate. To be honest with you, because you want to do a thriller preview? Because I wouldn't mind doing one. To be fair, because
have you guys got some
Brighton
like
thoughts.
5 minutes, 8 minutes to quickly preview our next match?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
Right,
I mean,
look, the next Brighton game is against Fulham, which a few years ago would have been probably one of the most boring games on the fixture list.
0-0 draw.
For some reason now,
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we lost the reverse at Craven Cottage this season. But now it's two teams that are fighting for Europe, which is crazy. What are your thoughts, Charlie, going into that game? Are you confident?
I don't know. Well, Fulham have got history of Europe, didn't they? Like,
yes,
2007.
With them all.
2007.
Well.
They did pretty well.
Yeah,
like Clint Dempsey,
or something.
Jimmy Bullard as well. I think
maybe. I think.
But
memory there.
Yeah, I think. I don't know how I know that.
I think you're right.
I think he did.
You might be right. To be fair, you're saying that, and I think that it's reminded me. Yeah, and I think it was Juventus as well. They beat.
And then they got knocked out by Diego Forlan, Atletico Madrid, I think. Weird how
we
learned this
type
of shit.
It's weird.
Literally. But I don't know. I think again, like they've got a lot of muscle. very physical. They were so drilled at the Cottage.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like, it was just one of those games. It was just a straight up defeat.
Yeah.
And it was just it was a kind of good game for them. And it was kind of a good defeat, if there is one. I was like, that makes sense. I'm not gutted about it. Because we didn't play awfully. We just got outplayed. So I don't know. I think like it really depends. It's so hard.
That was
to
under
predict.
Potter, Charlie.
I think we'll give him.
So
true. Gosh,
we just got turned over there. I think if Mitrovic is in form, Fulham are just unplayable really at the moment.
Yes.
Like if he's through, he'll score. He's one of those players. I quite like Fulham as well. Like going to Craven Cottage, Old Wooden Stadium. Like I can't really take anything away from.
It's a hard club to hate, isn't it? There's nothing really about it that you hate.
They're just. It seems to be well rounded.
Bit like us, aren't they? Really. It's just mirror.
But not as good. But it's going to be it's going to be a really interesting match. I feel like it could go either way. I like to think we'll return the favour and beat them, but they're decent. So
who have we got? Have we got anyone coming back from injury like before this game?
Is Lallana coming back?
You'd hope Lallana might be back by now. Obviously, Ferguson had a cameo against Palace.
You need Lallana in a match like that. We're gonna need the old heads.
If Lallana's fit, he has to start. If Lallana's fit,
one of our best players this season.
I'd like to see Ferguson start as well. I like that they're giving Undav a chance. I just feel like that kind of tasty match where it's a bit of a stalemate head to head. I feel like you were going to need something, a bit of edge. Yeah, I'm interested about Undav. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do there. I think he could be good, but I'm a bit. I don't really know who's the first choice. He's up top.
Like being harsh. Dennis Undav is just one of those players. You're just like, he's a classic Brighton player.
Jurgen Licardi-esque.
It's just like, here he comes. Dennis Undav's coming on. What's he going to do? Not much.
Hopefully not become a DJ like Licardi.
Really. There you go. Should have spotted that one. I don't know. Like obviously, Matoma's in great form. I think you need someone else linking up with him. I guess. I don't know. Like
very good.
Yeah. March is obviously flying right now.
March is flying.
I mean, to be fair, mate, like that VAR decision the other day, that should have been a goal because they picked up the last man of the wrong man.
Yeah.
So
I didn't notice that was actually wrong. I just saw.
So it was completely. The VAR was wrong. Yeah. They made a rush because they took too much time. They put the line on the wrong player. I don't know who was actually playing him onside, but he was onside.
It was the person doing it was the head of VAR, and it's like it's literally his job to put some lines. How do you mess that up? I'm still.
How? So bad.
And they took a good like 2 or 3 minutes doing it as well. It's like wasn't rushed. It was so stupid. So that it was so we didn't really do anything wrong in that sense. Like we couldn't have played any better. We should have got the 3 points. So like it's like obviously Palace might be not in as good form as Fulham are, but like I think we're kind of all right. I don't know. Much needs to change. Just hopefully we don't get landed a blow like that again.
We haven't had too many bad decisions against us like that, luckily, this season, but could be the start of a few, who knows. But I didn't know that it was actually wrong. That is so bad. Like,
they've admitted and apologised, which was accepted by the club. But, it is what it is now.
What does that mean? Know. So we'll have 2 points then?
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, won't do it again.
But I think actually, funny we mentioned this yesterday. Well, last night, they've called almost a meeting. I think it was Howard Webb called a meeting for all of the PGMOL referees to basically be summoned, and attendance is compulsory. I don't know if it's today or if it's tomorrow. I don't know what it's even about, but they basically summoned all of the referees and officials to this meeting, which, I don't know. Here you go. They've summoned all Premier League officials to Stockley Park for an urgent review on Tuesday. So what that would mean, I don't know, but that's what I'm reading here.
Because it happened,
pretty much.
It happened in the Arsenal.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, but for the other way around. It was they forgot to draw the lines for something that was offside. I don't know. I don't know how that can even happen. But anyway, Ben, I want to know your thoughts on Fulham, because it is going to be a tough game.
I don't think it's going to be as straightforward. Like Willian somehow become an unbelievable Brazilian player. He's remembered he's Brazilian. And he's playing like a Brazilian player, just absolutely killing it now. I don't understand how that's happened, but he's had like a career resurgence, which is it's good to see.
He was really good back in his time at Chelsea.
Yeah, back in a good day. So I don't think it'll be a straightforward game. Somehow Marco Silva's got them very well drilled. And they played us off the park at Craven Cottage. But like you said, that was under Graham Potter, who, as we know, is an awful manager. Yeah. So we've got we've got De Zerbi now, and I've got so much faith in him. Like I said, we played so well against Palace. We just keep doing that. We should be getting wins and getting results if we keep playing like that. And hopefully Ferguson will be back and actually start. My friend, who's a Tottenham fan, said that he sees a lot of similarities with him and a young Harry Kane. Which is he's got the ability of a striker with great finishing and heading, but he can also pass it, which we all know Harry Kane's got that in his locker.
Yeah, he looks like he wouldn't have naturally the best touch. It would be quick for the ball to get down, but he looks like really well rounded. Yeah, he's got it all. He's so young, so young.
There's no
and he's got that physical dominance, which actually does help against teams like Fulham. Like we need a bit of
that's
muscle.
That's the quote that's going to be taken out of context.
Not like us.
But no, I just to finish off all the Fulham stuff. I think yes, it's a game that historically, as we always say, I think last season probably we would lose this game. I think maybe even the season before we'd do the same. It would be one where we'd dominate and probably not take our chances like at Palace. But there is a difference in manager now. There is a difference in mentality in the team. I'd like to hope, I think if we do win this game, it's one of those where we'll look back and we'll say, that was a big decisive moment in the season. It's one of those. I think if we lose, we're not worthy of getting up to Europe this season. I think if we win, I think it's more than enough time to start believing, because we've still got a couple of games in hand over them anyway. I think we've got Newcastle, Bournemouth, I think as well, and Palace at home to play, which no one else has played yet. So we've got plenty of games in hand. But yes, I think if we do go and win this game, which we have more than enough ability to do so. I think it is time to start booking booking that time off for a trip abroad.
I think as well, with De Zerbi as well, one big point as well that people said when he came in, lots of pundits were saying, he's an exciting manager. There's going to be lots of goals either way. He will definitely attack, but there'll be also lots of goals conceded, and it doesn't seem like the defence has been too rocked by the move of him coming in, and they seem pretty tight. We're not conceding too many goals, so if we can keep scoring on Saturday, I think we'll beat teams like Fulham. But you're right, I think it's decisive.
I'm scared of that phrase.
Pivotal moment in the.
We're getting to. Do you think that's going to spark a war?
Teams like Fulham, all the Fulham fans are going to be on it like a flash. All 30 of them.
Yeah, they're a scary
bunch. When I say
they'll get their cheese boards out.
I mean, I'm equal to us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm quite physical, in a good way. I
have a lot of respect for Fulham, but as I say, they're similar to us, and I think that's what's scarier. I think, as Adam rightfully said on the last podcast, it's almost like we're playing against a team that is similar to us, and therefore we're a little bit more worried. Because if it was a sort of a Tottenham or even a Manchester United coming to the Amex on Saturday, you'd be a bit more because we're going to be right up for that, and we can potentially catch them on an off day. But Fulham doesn't quite have that because we're pretty much the same. But it's going to be interesting. As I say, I think if we do win, it will be the one that sparks a lot of belief around the Amex, that's for sure. But boys, you've been an absolute pleasure, Jake and Charlie, mate. You've been fantastic. Really, really good guests.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Anytime.
Really love that.
Make sure you get down to the show as well. We'll be love to meet you in person. Sure. Hopefully see you at the Amex as well for a cheeky half-time pie, even a pint.
Charlie will be in
a pie, even a pint.
I'll be there.
Charlie will be covered in pie.
Remembering this forever. I remember. Steak and ale.
No, Ben, unless there's anything I've missed, comments below. Actually, comments below. We always do. I don't know if you guys watch every single week, but we do comments below where it's something for the podcast, something significant. We get fans, if they have watched this far into the episode, to comment something below. So if there's anything that sticks out, it can be Plus Ultra or something like that, if you like as well. Is there anything?
Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
Plus Ultra.
Everyone comment
Plus Ultra if you've made it this far. Okay, cool. Nice one. Thank you again, lads, for coming on. And we will see you probably after Fulham. And thank you all for listening and subscribing, whatever you've been doing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, etc. And we will see you, as I said, after Fulham. Goodbye.
Cheers, lads.
Thank you so much. See ya.